Hi, this is David Copeland from HowToSucceedWithWomen.com, and I want to talk to you real briefly about some things you've got to know about how to be bulletproof with women using humor. So what do I mean by being bulletproof? I mean, you're bulletproof with a woman when you know you'll never feel stuck with a woman, no matter what she says or does. You won't be stuck. You'll know what to say. You won't feel humiliated. She won't say one of those things that makes you feel bad about yourself. You won't feel cornered with a woman again. But you know no matter what happens, you're not going to feel like she's backed you into a corner and there's no way out. You're not going to feel shamed with a woman again. Now, humor is a great way to never feel stuck, humiliated, cornered, or shamed with a woman again. So what would it be like to know you could use humor to approach a woman? Any woman, you could use humor as your approach. Or to know that you'd be able to sustain a fun, sexy conversation with a woman, where you have a back and forth going, and there's banter, and there's wit, and there's good times. It's fun and an adventure for her. What would it be like to know you could use humor to close the deal with a woman? To be able to go from platonic to personal to sexual to touching to all those things using humor. And most of all, what would it be like to know you could use humor to be able to dance with anything she says or does with enjoyment and confidence? That no matter what she throws at you, you can give something back to her that it's funny, it's fun, it's light, and it keeps you in control. Well, that's what our new program, Comedy Mastery, is about. And I'm going to give you a couple pointers here from it, just to give you a sense of things you can start to use today to be bulletproof with women, no matter what she throws at you. But first off, we've got to talk about why be funny. Why do you want to be funny? What's the benefit of being funny? Are you trying to be a stand-up comedian? Is that why you want to be funny? No, it's not. It turns out that women want men who are fun. Being fun is the most important thing you can be with a woman. When a woman goes out to meet a guy or is in a situation where she could meet a guy, what she wants is a distraction from her life. She wants an adventure or a mini adventure. And in that, humor is a good thing. It's laughing. It's part of it. But really what she wants is fun. And as it turns out, the best way to be fun is to be funny. Let's give you two important tips from the Comedy Mastery program on how you can use humor to be bulletproof with women. Now, there's a whole heck of a lot more in the program, but I just want to give you two little things to help you handle potential conflicts or difficulties or situations where women maybe try and shame you or corner you or control you or make you feel bad about yourself. How you can get out of those using humor. So first off, number one is agree with her criticisms and disagree with her compliments. When you agree with a woman's criticisms or disagree with her compliments, you are automatically creating a light, fun, funny mood. Because it's a funny thing to do. It's a thing to do that does not take the interaction too seriously. Like if you're like most guys who are interested in being humorous with women, you've gotten bad advice, like just be funny or just keep it light. Right? Just keep it light. Well, how do you keep it light? Well, one way to do that is to agree with her criticisms and disagree with her compliments. When you do this, you become impossible to shame. You become impossible to control, and you keep things funny and light. So how does this work? Let me give you an example. Show you what I mean. So a woman, especially a really attractive woman who's approached all the time, will tend to use what's called the bitch shield. You've probably heard of it, to push guys back. So she might criticize you in some way. She might say, well, you seem really controlling. Or she might say, well, it seems like you just want to have sex with me, just like all those other guys. Or she might say, well, you know, you're too short for me, and I only go out with tall guys. Right? These are criticisms of you. Now, what most guys do in the face of these criticisms is they try to handle them. They're like, they resist them. Kind of, they say no. They're like, no, I'm not just trying to have sex with you. I actually think you look like an interesting person who has the most amazing breasts I've ever seen, parenthetically. Or, you seem like, oh yeah, I'm not controlling. No, don't think I'm controlling. Right, you're just thrown off by it. But when you agree with her criticism, someone can say, yeah, you know what? I guess I'm just a horn dog. You know, I seem to want to have sex with every attractive woman I see. So, yeah, I guess you're right about that. You've encompassed it and absorbed it, but not taking in the underlying message she's giving, which is you're bad, right? You're not accepting that. Yeah, I guess you're right. I probably am. Or, oh, I'm controlling? Yeah, my mom used to tell me I would control the weather if I could. I guess I'm just a controlling guy. You're accepting her criticism, but you're not accepting the implication of a criticism that you're bad or should be rejected or need to make up for it in some way. So, oh, yeah, I'm too short. Yeah, I'm just a short guy. I get that all the time for me. I'm just a short guy, short and speedy. That's what I call myself. You're not fighting with her. You're accepting it. And when you're not fighting with her, she can't control you. So, how about disagreeing with her compliments? This is another light, fun thing to do. And one of the main reasons to do it is because oftentimes when women compliment you, they're trying to put you in a box. Like a woman will say, you seem like a really nice guy. Well, nice guy is code for a guy who's not interesting enough for me to get intimate with. So you want to say, all right, well, I'm not a nice guy. You just really haven't seen me yet. Gives you a bit of a danger, a bit of the mystique. And this whole thing of agreeing with the criticism and disagreeing with the compliments, keep things light and bouncy. So you definitely want to do this and start practicing it now. Now next is being yes and. Now this is something that we got from stand-up comedy. In stand-up comedy, they have a principle that if somebody says something, you want to take what they said and go with it, rather than resist it and say no. So being yes and is building on what she says, rather than resisting what she says. Encouraging her to play with you, rather than making things dark and heavy because you're basically fighting with her or trying to change her mind about something. Create a fun, interesting atmosphere. Now let me give you an example of this, something that comes up really commonly. Now this isn't a criticism and it's not a compliment. It's something a woman will often say, well, I'm sort of seeing someone. Right? Well, how do you handle that? Well, first off, I can tell you any attractive woman is sort of seeing someone. There's a man in her orbit somewhere. There's no question about that. But so what do you do with that? Do you resist it? Do you fight with it? Well, you want to take it and be yes and. Like yes and something playful. Like for instance, she might say, I'm sort of seeing someone, and you don't have to say yes and. It's the energy of yes and. Rather than resisting it, you might say, really? You're sort of seeing someone? Well, I don't see a ring. Okay, Miss Woman who is seeing someone, but I don't see a ring. How about that? And then you move on. That is being light. That is being fun. That is being funny. We also talk about the no segue in our program, which helps you with this kind of thing as well. But yes and is not resisting what she says. It's saying, yeah, oh, okay, yeah, oh, you're sort of seeing someone. Well, I don't see a ring. How about that? That puts her on the spot, makes her go on the defensive, and then you can move on to a different topic and just keep right on rolling. Now, most men are no but, right? A woman says, I'm sort of seeing someone, and maybe they do something that has the energy of pleading, right? They may not actually be pleading, but they get kind of, oh, really? Oh, come on. Or fighting. Well, screw that. It's that guy. Oh, what about him? Or apologizing. Oh, I didn't mean to imply. Oh. Or justifying. Well, there was no way for me to know that. None of those things are light. None of those things are fun. None of those things are funny. So those are two of the many, many things covered in Lewis and Copeland's Comedy Mastery Program. And I just want to get this out to you quickly. So I'm not going into the detail that we do on the program. I just wanted to touch on this so you can start using it now and get a sense of what you might be getting into. Now here are some of the other things we covered just real quick in the program. We cover creating peak experiences with women using humor. The 4 steps of bantering, specific steps that you can know where you are in a bantering interaction at any time. Handling cock blockers with humor, men or women who try to get in between you and the woman who you're interacting with. Being a leader using humor, so you're seen as a social leader. The 6 things that women laugh at, the 11 types of jokes, and the specific skills of joke telling. Exactly how to tell a joke, step by step. How to use body language when you're telling a joke. How to calibrate your humor to the environment and the people you're talking to. Critically important. Handling your nervousness so you can actually do the things we're going to teach you how to do. And we give you killer starter jokes so you can get started right away. We talk about the difference between being the funny man and the straight man so you can know where you stand. It's important to know which one of those places you're standing in or you could fall on your face. We give you pre-tested, funny what-if and hypothetical questions that you can throw out to women that are important for bantering, they're important for the approach, they're important for follow-through, for everything. We teach you comic timing and how to learn that. That's not an easy thing to learn, but we think we've really got it figured out, the fastest way for you to be able to get that piece. The do's and don'ts of teasing. You do need to tease a woman. You do need to not do the things you shouldn't do. You got to do it right when you're teasing her. Making jokes about the environment you're in. Very powerful. How to approach women using humor. You got to have this piece if you don't have it now. Creating inside jokes between you and a woman that bond you together and give you something to have fun with over time. Going back and forth from funny to serious, because it isn't all fun and games and laughter. There are some serious things going on in her life, and she may bring them up, and this is how you can go back and forth to create a light, adventuresome, fun time. The no segue, which I mentioned before, very important thing for being able to turn on a dime in a conversation and lead it in a new direction. Avoiding the traps of humor that you really want to avoid if you want to succeed with this. Turning failed jokes into winners, and not just winners, but winners that show her the kind of man that you are, the sort of leader that you are, that she may want to follow along with for a good time. How to use details in your humor. Telling funny stories. It's critically important, huge segment on telling funny stories. How to use those stories to brag without bragging. So often guys have great things about themselves, but how do you share these facts? Well, inside your stories you brag without bragging. How funny stories turn I into we and bring you together. The 5 core stories that any man should be able to tell. And a step-by-step walkthrough on how to create those stories and practice them so you can bring them out at any moment with women or with groups. Wow, that's a great thing. Handling dead air in conversations with women and in humor with women. Turning humor into touching and sexuality. Going from platonic to personal to sexual. Using sexually explicit humor. I mean, there's just so much stuff here, and we walk you step by step through it. It's all this and so much more. And it's all done step by step in the Lewis and Copeland style, where we walk you through every step of how to do it. So you don't just know about it, so that you can actually do it. Now this is going to be coming out soon, and for a limited time, at howtosucceedwithwomen.com/comedy mastery. Looking forward to sharing more free stuff with you about this, and this is David Copeland, signing off.